Good morning and welcome back to Sunday Story Time here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we are going to begin our read-through of Star Wars Jedi's Honor, a solitaire adventure starring Luke Skywalker. Now, if this is your first time here, we've previously done a read-through of Scoundrel's Luck, which starred Han Solo. Now, in that one, unfortunately, we did not manage to complete the adventure, so we're going to come back to that another day. But for this is a brand new story, and you, as the viewer, are getting in on the ground floor. So, before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few different videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming content, and with this, I don't want you to miss out when the next part of the story comes out, because you're going to want to understand why here in just a moment. So, make sure you're subscribed, follow us on the socials, it's all linked down in the description below. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to mention is how this is going to work, all right? So this is a choose-your-own-adventure style story. So we're going to be reading through, and eventually we will get to points where we have to make a decision. Now, once I reach a decision point, it's going to be up to you, the players. Now, if you're watching this, you are considered the players. And you're going to put in the comments what decision you think we should take. Now, the choice with the most votes before next Friday, Saturday, basically whenever I decide to get the next one recorded, that's going to be the decision for the next video. So, I don't know where the story is going to go. You don't know where the story is going to go, but we're going to get there together. Now, just like classic video games, we have 3 lives. If for some reason the story ends before we actually complete it, we're going to backtrack to the previous decision point and we're going to take the other path. Or if there are more than 2 choices, we're going to put it up to a vote again. So make sure you're following along. That way you can get your votes in and impact the direction that the story goes. So let's go ahead and get started with Jedi's Honor. Now, we'll read through the introduction, and then we'll start with part 1, and once we get to the decision point, it's going to be up to you to leave your comments. So, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a small band of heroes tested their luck and their skill, logic, and courage against the mighty galactic empire. Jedi's Honor allows you to test yourself with them. Join Luke Skywalker and his faithful droid companion R2-D2 as they journey across the galaxy in Luke's X-Wing starfighter. Can you find a new base for the Rebel Alliance? Can you rescue the son of a Jedi Knight from an Imperial prison planet? Jedi's Honor is simple to play. Don't read the story straight through in sequence. You're not going to be able to, but we'll go with it. Instead, click the link below this introduction. At the end of the section, you will be faced with a choice. Does Luke draw his blaster, or does he place his hands on the table? Each tactic tells you what section to turn to next. Make your choice, and go to that section number. Continue reading from there. Simple, isn't it? There are no dice to roll, no tables to consult. How do you choose? Well, what do you think Luke should do? Or would do? Or what do you think he should do? You have all the information that Luke does. You have to decide, is it worth the risk? Can he succeed? Will his decision bring him closer to his final objective? Jedi's Honor is an exhilarating, nerve-wracking, exhilarating, fast-paced, funny, death-defying adventure. Also exciting. I missed a word, I'm sorry. It'll have you on the edge of your seat. You are faced with tough choices, tough decisions to make, and if you choose incorrectly, but you must not fail. The Force is with you, and the fate of the galaxy is in your hands. Jedi's Honor, Part 1. Luke Skywalker sits with his back to the wall. A man with an Imperial bounty on his head does that. It isn't a conscious decision. It's a habit of comfort, like wearing a favorite jacket or carrying a blaster. The entrance portal wheezes open and Luke turns his attention to the newcomers. Before the pneumatic door recedes halfway into the wall, 6 white shapes stalk into the room. With the dim light reflecting off their polished armor, the figures look more like wraiths than stormtroopers. Holding their blaster rifles ready to fire, they stand to either side of the entrance. A thin, silver-haired man wearing the black uniform of an Imperial general follows. The general has the narrow, pinched features of a Wellorian snake-eater. As he sweeps the room with his icy blue eyes, malice settles on it like a caustic fog. When the general's gaze stops at Luke's face, the rebel pilot tries to keep his expressive features still as he drops his hand to the blaster pistol strapped to his hip. With his shaggy hair, inquisitive eyes, and sun-cured complexion, Luke appears to be a naive young man, an easy mark for the smugglers, cutthroats, and Imperial agents that infest backspace watering holes. Anyone judging this use by his face, however, will soon regret his mistake. Behind Luke's boyish appearance lies a determined and keen mind that can draw from a surprising body of experience. He sits in a poorly lit hospice cafe with a tasteless bowl of undisguised protein concentrates in front of him. 30 bipeds, varying in degree from human to remotely humanoid, also sit in the dreary cafeteria. In the far corner, 5 Salustans occupy a table. They have dark, sad eyes and floppy jowls that hang from their noses like saddlebags. Their expressions betray a cynicism and callousness foreign to most faces of their race. A solitary Twi'lek studies the Salustans with pale eyes that betray his miserly intent. The 2 skull tentacles hanging from his head twist and writhe behind his back, much like the constantly flicking tail of a Togorian female. Over a dozen other races, many of which Luke does not recognize, share the room. He is careful not to stare, for that might invite attention in return, which he does not desire. Most of the room's occupants are prospectors, working the Selum asteroid belt. Apparently, they do not find the bland food objectionable, for they gulp it down with relish. Perhaps they like the hospice prices more than they dislike its food. A hive of beetle-like insectoids operates the hospice. The hive charges remarkably low fees, for it produces the protein concentrates itself. Luke does not want to consider how. Like Luke, the prospectors occupy rough benches along the outer walls. One man is an exception. Human. He sits at a table in the center of the room. When Luke entered the hospice, this man was the first being he noticed. He has found himself subconsciously drawn to look at the man time after time during his meal. The human, who appears to be about 5 years older than Luke, has a firm chin line, prominent features, and fiery red-brown eyes that arrest the casual observer's attention. In fact, over half the beings in the room pay more than passing attention to the solitary man, and he, in turn, smiles and nods to each being as if they are old chums sharing some noble secret. Does the man, Luke wonders, know everybody in the room? Or does everybody know him? He carries himself like one born to lead, yet he sits alone like a humble priest. Apparently, the human is the only creature unconcerned about what comes through the door, for he faces away from the entrance. Luke envies the confidence and security implicit in the carelessness. He has been a rebel for only a few months, but it seems like years since he has not needed to cover his back. Since destroying the Death Star at the Battle of Yavin a few months ago, Luke has been so busy with dangerous missions that he has almost forgotten what it feels like to sleep in the relative security of a rebel base. This latest job is the most nerve-wracking of all, for General Dodonna has assigned Luke's entire wing to solitary scouting duty. Although the Alliance won the Battle of Yavin, Dodonna knows he has only a short time before the Empire mounts another attack. If the rebellion is to survive, the rebels must move their base to another location. Finding that location falls upon the shoulders of Luke and his wingmates. So far, Luke has spent more time dodging Imperial Corvette patrols than he has scouting isolated worlds. The last time he inspected an abandoned system, he landed on an Imperial outpost. So, Luke has decided to explore the possibilities in the Selum asteroid belt. Although far from deserted, Selum has several things to recommend it. First, the heavy mining commerce might cover rebel military traffic. Second, literally 1 million planetoids occupy the same orbital plane. Even if the Empire tracks a rebel ship to the system, they will need weeks or even months to find the base. Third, the rebels can camouflage the base as a mining operation, conceal it in a deep mine, or disguise it in one of 100 other ways. But Selum does have one drawback, and it has just found Luke. "Hands on the table, boy," the general commands. His voice carries a spiteful edge. 3 stormtroopers point blaster rifles at Luke, but they clearly do not expect him to resist the general's order. The other 3 train their weapons on the human with the fiery red-brown eyes. The 2 prospectors on either side of Luke slide away, careful to keep their own appendages in sight. One miner is a burly human with a full salt and pepper beard, a flushed red face, and a huge round nose. The other being Luke does not recognize. 2 heavy horns curl away from its sloping forehead and canine muzzle. "I'm not going to tell you again," the general barks. The charismatic human nods to Luke as if saying, "Do as he says." All right, we've reached our decision point. So, is Luke going to draw his blaster, or is he going to place his hands on the table? Put it down in the comments, and next week for our follow-up video, you'll find out where the story goes. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, down below we've got links to our socials so that you know when our new videos come out. Also, link to DriveThruRPG, which is an affiliate link that does help out the channel if you choose to use it. So, with that said, I look forward to hearing your comments, and we'll see you next time.